Okay, so this is where we're going to be doing a little bit different feature on hole 4. What makes it a little bit different is going back to the cross sections here. This is a countersink. All right, I've already drilled the hole in there. You've seen me drill enough holes today, or in previous videos, that you don't really need that. But what we're going to do is focus on what they want from this drawing. Now, if you notice here that the diameter at the top is 437, that doesn't mean that you need exactly a 437 countersink at all. What that means is ultimately that's what the diameter is going to be when we're done. But what we really want to focus on is over here, the countersink. We see that the countersink is 82 degrees. So we want to make sure we have an 82 degree countersink in there, which I've already selected and put in. And I tightened up, even though it's a hand chuck, I tightened it up with this because I'm about ready to do a depth measurement or a depth cut. So I want to make sure that it stays in place and it doesn't want to scoot up or down in there and create that situation where it's off. So I got my 82 degree, but I look over here and I also see a dimension on the depth of that at 108. So, you know, it kind of makes sense that if I touch the edge of this to the edge of that hole and go down 108, then it's going to get right where I need it to be. So how I'm going to achieve that is the same way we did it with the counter bore. So what we're going to do is just see that process one more time. I know I wasn't going to bore you with the drilling, but this right here is important as to how we achieve that. So let's get to it. We're going to move this out of the way. We're going to come down and we're going to, well, first of all, we're going to make sure that that's set at 0. We're going to come down and we're going to touch our tool tips gently on there. I don't like doing it, but we have to. And we're going to lock our quill lock. The next thing is we're going to take our stop up against the hammer, the quill hammer here, and we're going to make sure that's nice and snug so it doesn't go down any farther than that. And then in order to get that depth, like I said, if we move that block out, this thing isn't coming down any farther, so the only way to get it to go down farther is to actually bring the knee up this way. And we're going to go down here, and remember, every line is 1,000ths, every revolution is 100. We need 108, so very simply I'm going to go 1, which is 100, and then I'm going to go 5, and then 6, 7, 8. So I got 108 thousandths on my dial right there. That means that I brought the knee up, and this hasn't changed, so that means that this tool is going to go down in that part by 108. So I'm going to go back to my little cheat sheet here, and I'm going to take a look at the RPM that I'm supposed to be using for this. And I'm going to go ahead and adjust that, turn this on, got my RPM set, make sure my lock is off, and I also want to make sure that I lube this. And I'm going to go ahead and be deliberate about this, not pushing a whole lot of pressure, but just getting right down to it until I hit my stop. Usually you'll hear the gears. You won't hear them anymore, and then you'll pick right back up, turn this off, use your brake to stop that, chip brush to get the chips out of the way. And the next step would be, since we know what the diameter is supposed to be, we're going to be using our calipers to go ahead and make that check. So again, you're always checking your parts after you do it. I'm not doing it here. You don't need to see me do that. But very simply, you're going to be checking that diameter before you move on to the next process.